Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Jennifer Moore, or as the kids at school have been calling me, Mrs. Math Moore, so that they don't get me confused with the other Mrs. Moore. But it's up to you what you'd like to call me. But today what we're going to do is explore some of our tools that we're going to be using in math class this year and get to know some of the features available on Sadlier Connect, which is the online version of your textbook, and it has some really cool tools and resources that we're going to be able to use this school year. So let's get started and take a look at what are some of the materials that you're going to need for class. You're going to need a notebook. Now, the composition notebooks have this binding where it's kind of glued together. That way your pages can't be torn out very easily, and it really makes a good kind of landing spot for all of the different charts and materials that you're going to need to use as a resource. So Mrs. Moore isn't going to have you taking a tremendous amount of notes throughout the year, but we are going to be gluing a lot of things in to use as reference or as resources throughout the year. So what I would like you to do with your notebook is on the very first page, you're going to write table of contents. And then every time we add in a new resource, whether it's a place value chart or a fraction decimals comparison page, anything, a diagram, a definitions bank, whatever it may be, you're going to give it a name and you're going to write down what page number that you glued it on, right? That way, anytime you need that resource again, you know exactly where to find it. So besides writing table of contents on the first page, you're going to have to go number each of your pages on the inside of your book, right? So don't give the table of contents a page, but then every page after that, start numbering. Go through the whole book, giving it numbers. Another option that you have, instead of using a notebook that has just lines on it, is using a composition notebook that's made out of graph paper. If you find it difficult to kind of keep your numbers in lines and maybe calculations tend to be a little sloppy for you, maybe use a graph paper notebook instead. So check that out. You're going to need a variety of writing tools, mostly pencil for writing your math book, but then a couple of colored pens for taking notes and making diagrams together, highlighters, that kind of thing. And then you're going to need something called a scientific calculator. A scientific calculator is a tool that we can enter in both fractions, decimals, we can convert to percentages, we can utilize exponent values and things like that. We can do order of operation, types of expressions, we can punch those things in. So this type of tool will be useful for you starting in 5th grade and going all the way through grade school, okay? So if you can get your hands on one of these, that would really help you out. It's called a TI-30X, and it's made by Texas Instruments. They're very easy to find wherever you get your school supplies, Target, Meijer, Walmart, wherever. They're about $10. So see if you can grab one of those. Now let's go over into the materials that the school is going to provide you with. We have purchased for you, and this is a new series, maybe 2 years old now here at Divine Child, called Sadlier Math. And the reason we picked this math series is because it really takes math into the modern era of math is more than just being able to solve calculation-based problems. It's being able to be resourceful and unpack more intricate problems and solve them in groupings, solve them in writing, solve them in ways that maybe your mom and dad aren't so familiar with. Math has changed dramatically since I was in school, and it's definitely more problem-solving based. But don't get too worried about it. I'm going to lead you through the school year and really develop your knowledge base so that you are ready to solve any problem that I put in front of you. If you're in 5th grade, it's going to be blue. If you're in 6th grade, it's going to be purple. And to start, I would have just sent you home with the workbook if you're in 6th grade. If you're in 5th grade, I did send you home with the textbook as well, but I'm pretty sure you're going to find that you don't open it that often because almost everything that you're going to be doing on Sadlier is available here in Sadlier Connect. Now, if you're a 6th grader and you find that you really do want a hardcover textbook to complement what you're doing in the workbook, fine, I can get one of those to you. But I thought for now, let's start with the workbook in Sadlier Connect and see if that can help you throughout your lessons, okay? The last thing that I want to show you is in Sadlier Connect. Here is the web address that you need to get started. It is on your password tracker sheet that we gave you when you picked up your textbooks. So maybe you could add your username and password onto that page right now. Your username and password will be emailed to you, and almost everyone has a username that is their last name followed by the first 2 letters of their first name, and the password is going to be DC 2020. But I will personally email each of you your Sadlier Connect login information, okay? So check your Gmail inbox for an email message from me there. Let's log in here together. Now, the very first time you come to Sadlier Connect, it's going to ask you to give the zip code of your school or parish before you can use your username and password. So let's enter in Divine Child's zip code right here. It's 48128. And then you'll see a lot of schools that are in that area that may use Sadlier. So we're going to click on Divine Child, and then we'll type in your username and password here. Now, the reason these are popping up here is because 3 people in my family already use Sadlier, and so their usernames and passwords are stored on my computer. You can do that too to save yourself some time. You're going to type in your username and then your password here and press login. When you open Sadlier Connect, you're going to see a bookshelf full of books that Sadlier has published that we have access to. And then if you have an assignment, there will be assignments listed here from your teacher, okay? Expect those to come at different intervals through the school year. I'll well announce where to find them, okay? But for now, we're just going to go in and explore some of the Sadlier math textbook online. When you open it, you'll see there's a table of contents. It has each of the chapters, right? And there are, as soon as you open a chapter, there are different resources available for you to take a look at. Now, the things that we're going to be using most often are going to be the instruction and practice section. These are the actual textbook pages. So if you are looking to replace having to open a hardcover textbook, these are the exact same thing that is printed on those pages. Let's click on one to open it. So here's page 1 basically of your textbook. Lesson 1.1, here's the topic of the day, and then here is the actual textbook page with some practice opportunity. I'm going to go back. The other section that you're going to be using quite frequently is the homework section. So we're going to scroll down. I can minimize these because we don't need any of these today, right? Okay. Here's the more practice and homework section. So these are the workbook pages. There are different things for you to practice with in preparation for assessments, games, and maybe extra materials. But there's one thing in particular that we're going to take a look at together. The Virtual Manipulatives section in Sadlier Connect is a collection of digital tools that you can use to sort of enhance your understanding of a math concept. So in the classroom, if a teacher wanted you to practice the skill of counting, she would normally pass out a pile of things for you to count, right? That pile of things that she's passing out to you are called manipulatives, meaning that you are manipulating them in order to grab onto a concept with a deeper understanding. So as you get older, the manipulatives that you use become less physical, like less things that you touch with your hands, and more abstract. So it might become a drawing, or it might become a picture, or it might become a video, or in this case, it's something that you can kind of move around on the screen with your digital access. There are so many virtual manipulatives that are available for you on Sadlier Connect, and we'll use quite a few of them this school year. I wanted to explore a couple of them together with you today, just so you can kind of get a feel for how the programming works a little bit. I'm certain that you guys always impress me with your ability to navigate digital tools, so I'm certain that this won't be any different. But we're going to take a look at 4 different virtual manipulatives that are available for you on Sadlier Connect today. This document, this Google Doc, is attached to your assignment for the day. So if you would like to print it, write it in, and then upload it back to your Google Classroom assignment, you can do that. Or you can just open this up as a Google Doc and type in your response and then press turn in when you're done. It's up to you how you'd like to submit this assignment for the day. But let's go and explore the number cubes one together, and we can work through that one hand in hand. Okay, I'm back to Sadlier Connect, and remember the virtual manipulatives are all the way at the bottom on the table of contents, and when you open it up you can see the listing that I took a screenshot of earlier. The first one that we are looking to explore together is called number cubes. Okay, so you see it right here? I'm going to open that up. I'm going to scoop my page up a little bit so you can see a bit more of the manipulative. And you're going to see that this kind of looks like dice, right? So if you had to describe this tool, you would say something like, oh, it looks like digital dice. Now we need to know, well, what could I use this for? So you have to be creative here. Like, what might someone need to use dice for? So let's try it out. I'm going to roll the dice and check it out. So if I digitally roll these dice, I ended up getting a 5 and a 4 on my first trial. What am I going to get my second time? A 5 and a 3 on my second trial. So you can keep on rolling. You can even set it to automatically roll. I'm going to have it automatically roll 3 times. Here we go. Roll. There's 1 time. There's 2 times. There's 3 times. So if maybe you were doing an activity where you needed dice and you didn't want to go find them at the house, you have some digital number cubes available for you. Here's a 10-sided dice too if you needed that for something. All right. There are other options here on the bottom where you can totally delete the screen and reset your work. Maybe you changed your mind, you want to use a 10-sided dice instead. So you can just explore this tool. What might someone use this for? I could for sure use it for a game, right? You could use it for generating random numbers. So those are 2 purposes I could think of. Can you think of any more? Let's go back to the other page and see what virtual manipulative is next. So after you're done describing the number cubes tool, move on to something else. I want you to investigate the area model tool, fraction bars and circles, and the work mat tool. So there are lots of different things for you to explore in each of these different resources. So to summarize, what you need to do for me today we need you to set up your notebook, right? And you pick which kind that you'd like. Give it a table of contents, number the rest so that it's ready to receive resources as I give them to you. Then you're going to check your Gmail account for your Sadlier Connect login information that I'll be sending you. Then you're going to get on to Sadlier Connect and explore some of those virtual manipulatives. I've already done the first one with you, so you have a couple more to do and explore on your own. That should be enough to get you all set up for math class. And tomorrow, what we're going to do is get right into the content, okay? So until next time, have fun exploring Sadlier Connect.